Using my super awesome powers, I'm going to tier list all these killers perfectly accurate in the way I see them in this game. So we're going to flat out say S tier here is killers that can compete any level of the game. No matter what, strongest survivors, great killer player. These killers, they're going to get a bunch of hooks, bunch of kills, they're going to win. Nurse. Alright, thanks for playing. That's our game of which killers can actually beat any kind of survivor team. I'm just kidding. Okay. We all know Nurse because is the best killer because she bypasses half the dumb shit survivors have before him. Oh, God Palette, whoop, links right through it, gets the slap on him. That's what we like to see. Of course, though, she can still be mind-gamed. She still has counterplay. That word has a different meaning than some of you think it does. If we're going S tier, I'm going to put my boy Blight up here too, because Blight is really good. He takes a lot of skill, he's really fun to use, and he applies pretty good pressure. You don't really see Blights camp a lot, because they're always bing-bonging around, beating people up and running into stuff, and ruining your days. So, yeah, that's it, as far as I'm concerned. There are no other S tier killers. These are the only killers that can play any way they want, play really good, and get anybody. That's it. I'm sorry. This game is balanced for casuals, so this is what you get at the high level. Now we're talking killers that are pretty good. They're not perfect, but they're pretty darn good. Like they're gonna give you a hard time. And if we're thinking of that, I'm putting Spirit. Now Spirit, yeah, she used to be top tier. No, with that nerf, no. Did she need some kind of nerf? Yes. Was the nerf they gave her too excessive? Kinda, because it renders her power nearly useless, because now you can pinpoint exactly. It's not a directional audio cue, it's like an emitting audio cue. You know exactly where she is when her sound hits. Alright, next up, I'm putting down my boy, Oni. Oni, yep. No, he gets top of A tier. Oni's amazing. At least he can be. Of course, he starts off as the weakest kind of killer, M1, which is why his power is linked to the survivors, which isn't great, because they have to give him his power. That's the thing. If Oni was in his power the whole time, he'd be the strongest killer in the game for sure. Demon Bash, Blood Fury, arguably unstoppable if he was like that all the time. But of course, that would be freakishly powerful. So instead, he's gonna be A based on where his powers, because if he doesn't get blood pretty quickly, he can lose pretty hard too. All right, here comes Huntress. Everybody likes a good Huntress. I mean, come on, who wouldn't? I like Huntress. Huntress, for sure. A tier. Great killer. She can, really good team. They can kind of run her around, bob and weave her hatchets, but if you had a really good aim with her, you're nailing those hits, and you're taking people down, and then you don't even have to camp. You can, hold down a lot of locations and maintain pressure with her, so that's good, and that's what we like to see. This is a ranged killer done right. A lot of these killers have major drawbacks. Huntress really doesn't, other than the fact she needs to reload, which isn't really a bad thing. Alright, up next, who we digging? We're digging Pinhead. Well, one of them, Pyramid Head, for shizzle. He's got some anti-loop, he's got pretty cool chase music. I like his chase music, and, when you can hit the anti-loop, it works for you. Plus, I mean, he's got one of the most powerful game abilities in today's meta, where he can literally tunnel people out of the game, because if you get tormented, it's simple. He hooks you while you got torment, and then he finds you again and cages you, which denies DS, and then he can down you again and use Final Judgment and moor you, and just like that, he's down to 3 survivors, and then the game is much easier for him, especially when he's got toxic, clicky, flash, flashbang, prove thyself, insta-heal, 4-man survive with friend squads. That's a lot, and that's not a lot of teams aren't like that, but still, when it's necessary, you can almost go, woo, do the tunnel thing. I am sick and tired of playing nice and playing favorites. Next, A tier, I'm putting my girl Plague. Yeah, she's my main. Yeah, I'm a little biased, but she is good, especially after, okay, if we would have said before her buffs, B tier, easy. But now, let me explain. With her changes, she has a much smoother cooldown. People can get sick from interactions much quicker. She doesn't need her vomit to be the extra effective add-ons, and all her add-ons got fixed, so now she can even have a quicker cooldown. She can charge it quicker. She can hold on to Corrupt longer, which is great. So yeah, you know how Plague works. She pukes on people, gets them sick quicker now, and now with those add-ons that make Corrupt last longer, she drinks the from the pool and just starts spraying and downing people. She's a killer that, yeah, she gets her power from survivors, but with the right build or enough pressure from just being good with the puke and stuff, you can really scare them into wanting it. You know, just slap on Thanophobia or something, and they're going to be cleansing. Even if they don't want to give it to you, everybody being one-shot, they're not going to like that either. So a good play can force them to give her better power, and then she can dominate with that as well. Not the easiest killer to use with some of the rollback issues, and her range isn't always the greatest, but definitely a solid killer, and she can win more games than you give her credit for. Just not a lot of people use her, and so in turn, not a lot of people know how to deal with her. King Mic Drop. Boom! Alright, Bubba, yeah, he is. He's so annoying. I mean, insta-down, you gotta love a good insta-down killer, right? Because he can just, boom, get your results. I don't want to put him this high on the list, but if we're being honest, killers that can compete, Bubba's the greatest camper in the game. Literally, he puts someone on the hook, and then what do you do? Because he has the only ability in the game, for the most part, that outplays Borrowed Time, because he can literally chainsaw you twice before you run away from him in time. And then he chainsaws the person that saves you on hook. So he's a great camper, which makes him really strong. Or, if you're actually playing for the hooks and stuff, he's pretty quick at downing people and mowing through pallets. That chainsaw goes quick through those pallets. And if they don't drop the pallet, you down the person. So either way, he's always getting results while in chase rather than getting screwed out of his results. So we got killers that can compete no matter what, killers that can kind of compete no matter what, and then these are the killers that are B tier. What we're going to say B tier is. They're still good killers. They're viable, but at the highest level, they probably don't stand that much of a chance. And a good example of a strong B tier killer would probably be Doctor. People hate anti-loop killers. It's as simple as that. They don't want to face killers that shut down their precious pallets, but Doctor does it better than just about any other anti-loop killer, because he outright forces you to put down the pallets quickly, and he can block you from getting across them, and he's good at finding people. He's really good at slowing the game down, because he's making people go crazy. They're seeing illusions. They hear his terror radius when they shouldn't. He can stop you from going from saves and stuff. He's... You know, in looping, you can still make him work for it, but he definitely can hold his own in a chase. It's more the fact that people just don't like him much, but he doesn't even get a lot of changes because he's a fairly well-made killer. He's not busted. It's just you gotta know how to play around with his ability. In my opinion, another B-tier killer, let's see what people say, is Hag. I don't know, I see some people say Hag is terrible, and I see other people say Hag is S-tier amazing killer. I'm gonna put her in B because a really good Hag can definitely make her traps where you always got to run into them, but a majority of the Hags I ever see, and I've been from low end of the game MMR to high end of the game MMR, not the top, maybe that's where I'm mistaken here, but Hags just do the same thing. They hook someone, put down the trap, and if you have a flashlight, you can counter the trap and save the person. Or, you pop the trap, a lot of good smart teams will bully her. They'll watch her put down the traps, and then as she goes to chase someone, they'll make sure they set off her traps constantly, so she can't set down her zone. If the Hag can't zone you down, then she has no foothold in the match because she's so slow. Her strategy comes from forcing you into loops where her traps are at, so she can ambush you. If we be talking middle of the road killers, I'm saying a killer that was almost made roadkill, Wraith. I used to love Wraith. Now, not so much. What happened? They buffed him because he was kind of poop, and so they made his lunge better, they made him a little faster in cloak, they basically made him pretty good. But then people kept complaining that they couldn't counter him, he had no counterplay, as soon as he uncloaked he just hits you. Yeah, that's because you're out in the open. The whole point of the speed boost is he slows down and then he speeds up to catch you. And so, he almost had a little bit of anti-loop. You would have to be able to mind game him at the right time at the pallets and know which way he was going to speed boost around so you could drop the pallet in his face. And if he put you in an unfavorable position, you'd have to mind game him to run away. Yeah, sometimes Wraith would just catch up to you and it'd be pretty scary, but now that his lunge is taken down, he can't even get around loops anymore. It's uncloak, go around it, and the pallet gets thrown down no matter what. There's no tricking the person and making them use reflexes. It's just watch where he goes now because he's not that fast anymore. So I have to say I'm a little disappointed that he lost the lunge. The add-on that got nerfed, that was needed. It was a stupid add-on, but I don't know. Now I don't see Wraith as really a threat at all. He's good when you don't see him coming, that's for sure. He can still definitely ambush you, but with the boons now, his whole hit-and-run strategy with, again, people say is annoying. Apparently killers are playing smart is annoying to play against. and they just want him to chase him for 2.5 minutes and lose 3 gens in the process. I'm sorry, that's how the game goes. Talking solid but not amazing, we're talking Pinhead. His hooks are weak. I don't get it. The whole point is he's supposed to slow you down. Well, that should make it scary to get hooked, and it doesn't. People will literally run in a straight line and let him hit them without bobbing and weaving, because it actually takes less time to break free from his hooks than it does time you lose bobbing and weaving from his strikes. He'll literally, you drop the pallet, he hooks you, breaks the pallet, you're still ahead of him. It's not like he hooks and you're like, oh no, he's gonna get me now. Nope. No, the only thing that made him good was Engineer's Fang, which was kind of a stupid ability, and they nerfed that too, so now he's got nothing going for him. I don't... The only thing he's really got going for him is the box. His 1v4 is better than a lot of killers, and so the fact that he forces someone to go to the box, or he gets his ability that slows their progress down, that's about his only saving grace, because his slowdown is B tier. Nemmy Boy Nemesis is definitely a B tier killer. He has his moments, you know. People hate the zombies, but the zombies are what make him intimidating because they add some extra pressure. Instead of one killer, you got 1 and 2 separate quarters of a killer running around, I guess, because they can push you off gens or they can alert the nemesis to your location. The whip, it has its moments where it can come in handy. Definitely breaking pallets when it's forcing people to drop them, and then you can break them right away is good. But it can also be easily dodged. Even if he does something silent, you hear his loud-ass footsteps, so you can always pinpoint which side of the wall he's on, even when he's trying to red glow you. Alright, next up, Death Slinger. I feel bad for Death Slinger. I don't think he got destroyed, as some people said, but, the changes they made to him definitely, it hurt him. It's the fact that he can't really flick on people anymore, and, certain loops, there's no point in shooting anyway. It's all in your aim. If you're good with them, if you're really good with the aim with them, then you're getting results. But if you're really bad with the aim with them, then he's going to be really weak. And I don't see any better place for him than B tier, because even really good Death Slingers can have a hard time. So you don't see a lot of Death Slinger mains out there. Alright, Freddy, get into B tier, where you belong. Nobody likes you, Freddy. You're really easy to use, and... although I don't believe you needed... The borrowed time nerf you had coming. People should still be able to use borrowed time, but the fact, they need to be asleep, and it's really easy for them not to be asleep for you to even use your power. The only thing you got going for you is the teleport. Most Freddys just do well because they play super, super dirty, which is why people hate Freddy, but it's like... it's not Freddy's fault. It's the people who use them. I don't know how people are going to feel about this one, but I'm saying Trickster is B tier. Definitely. Now that they changed them around a little, I still think... main event, once it's charged, you should be able to have a button to press to use it whenever. Do that. I think he's in a much better spot, but, when he gets you in the right position, he can down you pretty quick. And, he's also a really good camper, which is sad to see, but, the Lullaby isn't great, which is why I'm kind of putting him at the bottom of B tier here, but I definitely don't want to say he's bad, because Trickster can certainly down people quicker than you would think. How sad is it? I gotta put Billy in C tier. Now we're getting to killers that are just... you can play with them and do well, but once you start hitting, like, the purple rank level or whatever, there's no... it's just not happening. I'm sorry. Billy used to be one of the scariest killers in the game, and people always say, oh, I wish I could go back to before they nerfed Billy, because, yeah, the chainsaw, it doesn't do as much as it should. It's really hard to curve, and, it overheats quickly. He's not as fast as you think, and the music, dude, his music is so loud you can't hear shit when you're playing. I can't stand watching people play this guy because he's so loud, his music. Please lower the chase music with this guy. I don't know how controversial this one's gonna be, but I'm putting Myers in C. Some people say he's the worst killer in the game. No, he's not. He's still one of the scarier killers. I mean, Scratch Mirror Myers is still pretty fun. They made Vanity Mirror Myers even kind of viable. He's still got the insta-down potential. It's just the fact that it takes so long for him to get to tier 3. Basically, the only intimidating builds are infinite tier 3 Myers or ones with a tombstone, which are the ones you see a lot because they're either trying to mori someone out of the game quickly or maintain that insta-down ability. It's, he takes too long, or he needs some other kind of kick. I'll do twins. Nobody plays twins. I'm telling you, literally, most of these characters in the C and D tiers you don't see for a reason, because they're either boring as shit to play or they're super weak. Twins is a little bit of both. Twins is the slugging character. I mean, they have a cool design, but super long cooldown on Victor whenever he pounces on somebody, so easy to kick him, takes him a while to come back, but if you do too much of that, then it's just nothing but Victor, which is annoying. Yeah, Charlotte herself is kind of slow. When you zone people properly, it works out pretty well, but it's just... And nobody wants to slug. Well, or you can, but survivors just keep getting more healing shit to prevent slugging, and it's so boring. You just down everybody with Victor, and then you pick them all up. Like, no one people want a killer that can apply continuous pressure, but everybody's still playing the damn game. Alright, Pig, I'll be nice to you. Go put you in C. I don't know if you people are gonna feel about this. A really good Pig can really slow down the game. The traps are intimidating when used correctly. A lot of pigs do this thing where they just trap someone, but then they keep going for them, and that's not what you want to do. It does slow the game down, especially when you use her better add-ons. Yeah, her lunge isn't great, but I don't know. I've seen the fact that she can sneak up on people and get grabs. She's definitely not as bad in chase as I used to think she was. Damn it, I'm putting Trapper in C. I don't know. They gave him a few changes, which were nice, some add-on changes. Plus, he can hold 2 traps normally now, so he's definitely better. It certainly sucks for him to put down the traps and just have them found, and then he has to reset them constantly unless he's using the really good add-ons. But, you know, for a killer that loses a lot of time setting up, I really just hate this killer so much. He feels so unrewarding to play against because you're just... I get it, that's his ability. He places bear traps, and you don't want to get caught in them. But the whole thing is just put traps in grass, get chased by him, step into a trap, and he wins. You know, I'd almost argue his traps don't have the greatest counterplay, but then you can bully him at the same time. So it's like, against really bad players, he's really good. But Trapper's basically the killer that it's really fun to play as him, and horrible to play against him. Dun, dun, dun. Alright, we're at the bottom of the barrel here, people. Who do you think I mean, it makes sense with what we got left here. So we're going Clown in D. Look. Pinky Finger Clown, scary, but he camps. I'm trying to look at killers that have decent performance. These killers should be based not solely on the add-ons that can make them really good. Like Nurse, doesn't matter what add-ons you use with her. Yeah, 3-blink Nurse or fast cooldown and speed Nurse are stronger than regular Nurse, but her ability works all the same. Clown here, his slowdown doesn't do a lot. The speed up thing, you do the same shit with him at every loop. You throw the purple at one end, you throw the yellow on yourself, and then you speed into them and hope you slow them down enough. Alright, Ghostface, D tier. Yeah, I die to him a lot. It's because I'm not very good. I'm not great at this game, but I've seen how people play him. The hidden ability, yeah, when he goes all cloaked, the fact that people can stare at him and make him lose his undetectable status is kind of rough, but I get it, so we can't always expose you. Problem is, it takes a long time to expose, and by then your gens are flying. And as soon as you hit someone, you lose your ability. As soon as you're stared at for too long, you lose your ability. Yeah, sometimes there's a bullshit where you're looking at him and it doesn't do anything, and he's still exposing you. But he doesn't have a lot going for him. The whole stalking thing it's not worth the amount of time it takes. Alright, bottom of the barrel here. Legion. They try, but they don't succeed. The whole thing with Legion is a really bad Legion, you can still heal. A really good Legion, it tries to slow down the game. The ability just makes him run around and heal you. It's really easy to bait him into swinging and go on his really long cooldown of losing his ability. Legion isn't that fast in this ability, and yeah, he makes you mend a little bit, but usually everybody just plays the game injured, and unlike Plague, who makes you sick and can hear you more, Legion just makes everybody injured, and everybody still is dead hard, and they leave no traces behind. It just, I don't know, I've never seen scary Legion players. What's that? I missed one? Are you sitting there biting your teeth for that reason? You actually thought Demogorgon was gonna go in D tier? What kind of bastard do you take me for? I got you though, didn't I? You're like, no, not Demo Doggy. No, Demogorgon does not belong in D tier. I was gonna say Demogorgon belongs in B tier. A lot of people argue Demogorgon is one of the most behavior established killers. He's the perfect killer in the game's eye because of the fact that he's got decent abilities. He's not OP. He's got different add-ons, and he's got a lot going for him. You know, he's got the Shred, which extra attack. Everybody loves him because he's a big giant puppy. And the portals help him get around, but at the same time, unlike Freddy who can just do it, he has to put the portals around and create a strategy around it. So yeah, Demogorgon definitely can perform well in chase when used in the right hands. Not absolutely busted, you can still bully a Demogorgon, but definitely a threat. I'm not a pro player by a long shot, I admit that, but I'm very in tune with this game, and I understand the vision the developers have it, the vision certain people have of it, and this is how I see where these killers fall. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.